Hey, so after getting my new camera a couple of weeks ago for my birthday, I thought I'd give this whole YouTube thing another shot. So on Instagram, I recently asked you guys what sort of videos you wanted to see from me. I had loads of replies about IBS, anxiety, food, but also loads of you said that you want to hear more about my wedding planning. And at the moment, that's something I'm really excited about, so I thought I'd give it a go. So as I'm sure you all know, anyone that follows me on Instagram, Ross and I got engaged 3 months ago now, so this is my ring. Oh, so actually I still haven't had it resized. It's been 3 months and I'm still wearing this thing from Amazon, so I really need to get it sorted. But yeah, 3 months now, and it still feels really new and really exciting. I still get absolutely obsessed with this. Every time I go for a wee, I just stare at it. But yeah, we've pretty much got most things sorted for our wedding. And I thought I'd share how I've done it, as that seems to be something you guys are interested in. So to start off with, I am actually I do events and marketing for a living. So events planning is something that comes quite naturally to me, and I am quite an organised person, so I love it. But what I was going to do is just go through sort of step by step all the stuff that we've done so far and how I've done it. I'm just going to go through sort of everything. I've got my list on my phone because I quickly just made a sort of list of orders so I don't go off too much on a tangent. But yeah, so we got engaged when we were on holiday in Dominican Republic, and it was on the first night, which was amazing because we then had 2 weeks to celebrate it. I've always thought as soon as I got engaged, I'd be on the phone and sorting everything straight away. But as we're on holiday, I promised Ross that we could have that 2 weeks to just celebrate and chill, and I wouldn't bombard him with wedding questions. So for the first 2 weeks, all we really did was decide on a rough date. So getting engaged in summer, we also really wanted a summer wedding, so we were kind of left with the choice of 1 year or 2 years. But because we are really keen to have sort of babies in the next few years, let's do it next year. So once we sort of had a rough date, we then needed to think about the budget. Now, that's something that I might actually do a whole nother video on, because our budget massively changed to what we thought. Weddings are so much more expensive than we realised. And I've got a whole budget spreadsheet, well actually a 10-tab spreadsheet that I'm absolutely obsessed with. So I might share that one if anyone's interested. Maybe pop it in the comments below and I'll do something on that. So yeah, get your budget sort of organised, understand how much you can save, eventually whether it's something you can ask outright or it might take you a little longer depending on your relationship, if your parents are going to be helping sort of understand where your money's coming from and what you can do, so you know what you're working towards. The next thing that I then did was to buy a wedding planning book, which I haven't actually got, but a wedding planning book. I just got one from Paperchase. I didn't want one with too many sort of guidelines on exactly what you can write where, because it was more for ideas, because my spreadsheet was for everything else. So a wedding planning notebook, because that way I could quickly note down if I saw anything, could quickly jot down suppliers, sort of ideas on decorations, things like that, even appointments and vendor details, etc. And I also got a wedding box as well, again from Paperchase. They do an amazing little range, and that's for any sort of brochures and leaflets and bits and bobs that you can then collect in there. And then the first thing we did was look for venues. I had loads of ideas already. I already had Pinterest boards of what I wanted my wedding to look like, and I'd been making these since I was about 15. But I think for me, once I was engaged, I wanted to start fresh and it be something that me and Ross create together. So it wasn't a case of what I thought it might be, is just press a button and yeah, let's go. I really wanted him to be as involved as he wanted to be, and get his ideas as well. I started off with thinking about what sort of, people say what theme are you going for, but that reminds me of sort of, I don't know, like fancy dress or something. I think, yeah, sort of what theme or style we wanted. I've always been really keen on a teepee idea. I love the whole rustic style, love outdoors, and so does Ross. Ross really wanted it to be outdoors, hence the summer wedding. So I really thought that the teepee way was the way to go. and I thought I wanted to do everything from scratch, so sort of do the whole get a field and then get the TP. When we looked into that, it was just so expensive, because you don't just hire the TP, you have to hire the venue, you have to check that it's licensed to hold legal ceremonies, you have to do everything from hire portaloos and generators, and it was just manic. And being that we only had around a year or less to plan it, we sort of ruled that idea out quite quickly. So then we started looking at other venues that maybe already had a TP or a marquee or something similar. So once we got back, we booked in, I think, about 4 different venues that we went to see, and there was one in particular that I thought was going to be the winner, and that's the first one we went to. So we went along, and it was a really lovely venue, but I just didn't get the feel, and I don't know why. I just couldn't see us there. The only way I can describe looking at venues is when you go and view a house. So when we bought our house, we saw loads, and loads of them I absolutely loved, but I just didn't get that feel. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but I just couldn't see us there. And once we bought this one, or viewed this one, straight away I could see us sitting on that sofa and being in that garden, and just exactly how I decorate it. So yeah, I didn't get that with the one that I thought was going to be the one. So we looked around, I think six or 7 venues in total. So we looked at pretty much any sort of TP or rusticy stretch tent venue around Kent, and I just, there wasn't one that we loved. So we then went to our venue, which at the time we weren't really sure. We booked it and we almost cancelled it, and I remember on the day we went there, we went around the town, and I'm not going to say which venue it is just yet, although I think I might have already said it on Instagram, but maybe I'll leave it for now. We went around the town for lunch beforehand, and we said to ourselves, I wish we were actually seeing the venue that we're seeing next week today, because that's the one that we think we're going to love the most. But we'll go along and we'll have a look. So we went there with sort of quite low expectations, and once we got there, it just blew us away. We viewed, we walked around, and they were just amazing. I mean, the guy that showed us around, the owner, it wasn't just a venue that blew us away, it was his attention to detail. And being an events planner, it absolutely blew my mind. He had thought of every single little thing. It was all about the guests, and making sure they had fun and a great time, and it was something to remember, which is exactly what we want it to be. We want our wedding to be, we're not traditional, we want it to be super fun, we want people to be talking about it, we want it to be a massive party where we can celebrate with all our friends, and it just be a fantastic day. And I remember we came, once we'd finished our viewing, we walked back to the car, and I just burst out crying, and I was like, what's wrong? And I said, that's the one. He said, I know. He said, we're going to get it, don't worry, we'll make it work, because it was actually a bit out of our budget. But we just couldn't stop thinking about it, talking about it. I took loads of photos, and we spent the evening looking back at those, and that evening we emailed them saying, yeah, we'll take it. And they had one date left, which is next June. So yeah, we booked it. So within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks of being home, we booked our venue. The next thing I did, or one of the next things I did, was I actually created a email especially for the wedding, because I'd found in the first few weeks of planning, I'd been doing it from my personal email account, and it was getting really confusing as it was getting jumbled with my ASOS obsession and Amazon and all sorts of things like that. So I created a new email address, so that way I could just find everything really quickly, and I sort of knew what was what, so I just added that to my phone. I was also a bit sad and created a little logo as well on Photoshop, but yeah, I would definitely recommend setting that up, and that was actually one of my friend's ideas, and it was brilliant. It's been a bit of a lifesaver. So once we got the venue, what did we do? We then put out the save the dates. Actually, let me see if I can find the save the dates so I can show you. I also found my planning book as well. There you go, that is my wedding planning book. So just to show you, it's not got too many things there, but I've made all of my notes about the venue when we had the dates booked to view. I've got drawings in there of the table centres, just loads of different notes. So this one was from Paper Chase. But anyway, this is our save the dates. So I bought this template from Etsy and then did the rest myself. But because we only had, I think at this point, 10 months to go, we wanted to get those out straight away. So save the dates was sort of the first thing on our list, and obviously comes with that is the guest list. So we thought that we were going to be able to keep it to around 100 people. Once we started writing it out, it quickly grew, and I think that's something that's really, really difficult. We both have really big families, and we haven't even managed to invite everyone to the day that we wanted to. So yeah, I'd say get that done quite early, just because that's obviously going to affect your budget as well, and maybe even your venue. For us, our venue holds I think 150 or 160 people in a day, so we're fine, but some venues are obviously quite that will limit you. So my dress was the next thing. So that's something that although I had my Pinterest for years, I'd never really thought too much about my dress, just because I'd sort of changed my mind on the style quite a lot. So when the girls said to me, oh, let's go dress shopping, we need to sort of get that in soon, what sort of thing are you looking for? I was like, I have no idea. All I knew was, because we're going for a sort of rustic feel, I want something a bit vintagey, not very traditional, and that's all I knew. It's dripping everywhere. So yeah, so what we did was my maid of honour booked us into a couple of local shops, and went to the first place, and it was actually somewhere new in Maidstone, and it's a boutique-y place, and we walked in and I just fell in love with all the dresses. They were just beautiful. They were so me, not traditional, very, I don't even know how to describe it, yeah, I guess sort of vintagey and just gorgeous. And I chose, well, me and the girls together pulled loads of dresses off, and it was me, one of my bridesmaids, my maid of honour, and my mum that went. We started just pulling loads of dresses off the racks, and there was, I reckon I tried on probably 12 dresses, but it was the first dress that I absolutely fell in love with. It was gorgeous, and I was like, this is the one. And we went for a cocktail afterwards, because we had about an hour to wait until the next dress, and I was like, oh, this, I think I love it, and the girls and my mum absolutely agreed. So we did go to the next one and tried on a few dresses, and they were a lot more modern. They were lovely, but not really my style. However, there was one that was in the window, and it was totally different to the dress, or the polar opposite to the dress that I just tried on and fallen in love with. But I thought I'd try it on anyway, and it absolutely threw us off. It was amazing. I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, how are we going to decide? I think this is one. It was really difficult because we couldn't actually take any photos in the first shop. So trying to remember what it looked like was really hard. And anyway, we came out of the shop thinking, right, this one is actually the one, even though it's not me, it's just beautiful. And I said, let's just go back into that first shop and try and get some sneaky photos. Sorry, for the wedding shop for that, but just so we can remember. And we went back in, I tried it on, and then everyone was like, no, this is it, this is the one. So we ended up signing up and got that dress. So yeah, I then called up all the other shops that I'd booked in for over the next month or so and cancelled the appointments, which loads of people said that I was crazy for and that I should have tried on more dresses, but I didn't want to confuse myself. It felt right. It was something that felt like me. It was also comfortable, whereas the other one, the confusing dress, wasn't. It was very big, very structured. I'd have to breathe in, and it just wasn't me. So I think, yeah, for everybody's different, but for me, I just didn't want to confuse myself, and I loved it so much, and I haven't looked back since. So the dress was next, and that was sorted within maybe 2 weeks after booking the venue. So the next thing we did was bridesmaids' dresses. So I've got 4 bridesmaids, which I didn't actually talk about how I asked them to be my bridesmaids, how I proposed. I actually did that whilst I was in Dominican Republic. I got a Canva, which is a sort of Photoshop that you can use on your phone. I designed some little proposals on a card and bought some little bracelets from Etsy, and then asked my mum to send those. So yeah, I did those within a week because I just wanted to get my little WhatsApp group together and get all excited. Bridesmaids dresses were next on the list, and that was something that we wanted to get done sort of quite early. One, because we were still in season for the summer dresses, and if we didn't get them, we'd then have to wait till next year. And 2, just because all of my bridesmaids are very different sizes, different styles, different shapes, so I knew it was probably not going to be the easiest of tasks, which it wasn't, but we've got there now, which is great. So with our WhatsApp group, I just said to the girls, any styles that you like or anything you see, pop them in to the group, and then we can go from there. And I really, because of it only being next year, I didn't want to spend loads and loads of money, and I love the styles on ASOS, so we mainly looked on ASOS rather than the bridal shops, which worked for us, and also I think that gives you something a little bit more different, and because we don't want it traditional. So we probably tried on, I'd say, or bought maybe 20 different dresses. It was quite a long process, and it's difficult because I try it on and first, but where all my bridesmaids are sort of dotted around, some in London, some are closer, it took a lot of time to get everyone to try it on. And yeah, being with everyone having different shapes and sizes, everyone's opinion was quite different. But we managed to find one that we only actually found a couple of weeks ago, and we got it in a sale, which was amazing. And everyone loved it, and everyone's tried it on now. Actually, my maid of honour hasn't, but she'll look lovely anyway. But it just looks gorgeous, and it's very classy, and it just suits everyone's shape, which I think is important. I wanted everyone to feel comfortable, and everyone does, so that's great. So we've sorted that. So bridesmaid dresses are done, just need to get them altered, which we'll do closer to the time. And obviously with bridesmaid dresses came the thinking of what our colour scheme was. So I really loved the idea of sort of a sort of muted palette of sort of dusky pinks or nudes and some golds. So I was kind of happy for any of those colours, or grey. And the one that we went for is quite a sort of champagne-y colour, and it's gorgeous. And then that will let me do some rose gold and pinks and stuff in all of the details on the day. So bridesmaid dress is done. What was the next thing we did? So photography, that one was really quick for me because I've actually been obsessed with my photographer for years. I saw her on my wedding years and years ago, and she's a local photographer and I loved her. So I did inquire with a couple of others. So one that we went with was a little bit more expensive than we were hoping for, but in the end I thought these photos are going to be something that we look at forever. Obviously photos were majorly important to me, so yeah, we booked her really quickly. The next thing that we did was the band. So I think that comes down to thinking about what is important to you in your day and for your budget. And Ross and I said that obviously the venue is one of the most important things for us, and also the band. We are so keen on having it as such a fun wedding that everyone talks about, and when I think about the best weddings I've been to, they've had amazing bands. So we knew we wanted, that's where we could spend a little bit more of our money. So that was a really difficult one to do. We looked around for ages on different sort of agency sites, and then I also put it on Facebook and got some great recommendations. And so we knew that we wanted a sort of at least a 5-piece band. I was really set on saxophone just because I think it's amazing. And we love Motown music, so we wanted a bit of that or a bit of soul, and we found a band that was absolutely perfect, and they're called Checkered Band, and they're brilliant. They're from Leeds, but they're coming all the way down to Kent, and they're going to perform at our wedding, so we're really, really excited. And once we booked that, that was like a massive weight off my shoulders, because it's something that took probably, I say took a long time, only maybe 3 weeks, but of a lot of research. So yeah, once band was done, it sort of really felt real, which was brilliant. Then what did I do next? So hair and makeup. Makeup was really easy because Ross's sister is actually a makeup artist and she's brilliant. So I didn't think that she was going to want to do it because I thought it might be a bit stressful, but she said she'd absolutely love to do our makeup, and she's a bridesmaid as well. So I've got, Ross's 2 sisters and then 2 of my best friends as bridesmaid and maid of honour. But yeah, Hannah said that she'd be happy to do it and she would love to. So that was brilliant because she's done my makeup loads of times and is actually the only person that I've actually liked. So yeah, we're going to do a little girly day maybe next year, and we're going to order some takeaway, and Hannah's going to do all of our makeup, and then we can sort of have a play around. But that's really, really, really good. So we got that sorted fairly quickly as well. And then hair, that's something I looked around. I used Instagram mainly for that, and also one of the things I would really recommend is signing up to some wedding forums on Facebook. So a really good one is, I think it's called UK Wedding Advice and Chat, and that's brilliant. People put up things like, girls spam me with your wedding shoes, and like 50 people send their wedding shoes, and it gives you good inspiration. But then also there's some ones for your local area. So I think there's like a Kent wedding chat that I went on to, and I could see people asking for recommendations of hairdressers. And one of the ones was someone I was looking at on Instagram anyway, and she had the sort of style that I wanted. So from my Pinterest boards, I knew what sort of thing I wanted, and I got a quote from her, and yeah, I booked her up pretty quickly. So hair and makeup is sorted. So then what have we done? Flowers. So that was something that I've gone backwards and forwards on so many times of what I want. But once I had my colour theme sorted with the bridesmaids, I knew what sort of thing I wanted. I've always known that I want loads of foliage, and I love eucalyptus, and from our save the dates, as you can see, there's eucalyptus on there. I want loads of foliage, and I want it to be very rustic. I love, I'll say this wrong, but like gypsophilia, love that sort of thing. And yeah, lots of muted pinks and dusky tones. So I had a look, again, used Instagram loads for that, and I think the wedding forums. Found Elise at Hedges and Flowers, and she's absolutely amazing. So just to show you her Instagram, she does some of the most gorgeous things. Like, look at all of this. Like, how pretty is that? Yeah, sort of, she's very much my sort of style. So I got a quote from her, and we booked that up. So I haven't decided the exact flowers that we're going for, but I sent her some ideas, and we're going to go to the venue as well, because we've actually got a sort of archway that we need to decorate at the venue, which is going to be a big one. So we're going to go along, and then we're going to sort of spend some time chatting about ideas, and then we'll go from there. So flowers are also booked. God, I sound quite organised here. One of the next things, so for us, catering wasn't a decision because our venue has one sole caterer. So haven't had to pick caterers, which takes quite a lot of sort of work off our hands. And also when I looked online at some reviews and also their Instagram, the reviews are just amazing, and the things that they create look fantastic. So we've now had a call with them, also sent an email with all of our ideas. We only did that a couple of days ago actually, and I've managed to convince Ross to have a completely gluten-free wedding. I'm still undecided on the whole low FODMAP thing, just because can I put my guests through that? I mean, to me it still tastes delicious, but I don't know. So that's something that we're talking to the caterers about. But yeah, with the food, we wanted it to reflect the rest of the wedding in the fact that we want it to be really fun and also relaxed. So rather than it be a formal sit down sort of 3-4 course meal, we want it to be a bit of a sort of sharing thing, so to sort of get people talking. So we've gone with that sort of idea, and yeah, we'll see what we get, but we've got some ideas on how it can sort of further reflect us, because that is such a big thing for us. The other thing is cake. So now I've been really lucky with that. We were going to actually leave a cake, so I'm not really that fussed on cake. But I'm lucky to have one of my friends owns an amazing cake shop, and she's just incredible. Her name's Rebecca's Cakes. You need to look her up because she's amazing. But bless her, she's agreed to do the cake for us, and we're going to have a sort of semi-naked cake with some flowers. So got that sorted as well, which we'll probably discuss with her, I guess, a couple of months before. So yeah, so we've got venue done, dress done, email and sort of planners sorted. We've got obviously the date, the bridesmaids' dresses, photography, band, hair and makeup, flowers, catering. Decor wise, I might do a whole nother blog on that, because that's something I've been testing out as I go, and I've got some ideas that I love. So videographer we've almost decided on, so I can maybe do another update. So the things that we've got left to do are finalise the menu and drinks. I need to design the invites, and I need to send those out, which we'll probably do early next year. Men's suits, rings, and sort of finalised decorations. So we've done absolutely loads in, well, it's 2.5 months, so since we've been back it's been 2.5 months, so we've done loads and loads. We've still got bits to do, but I'm feeling very much on top of it. We also went to a wedding show, so the National Wedding Show last weekend, which was brilliant. I definitely recommend going to a big show because it gives you loads and loads of ideas. Yeah, the one other thing that I would say to do as well, get yourself some wedding insurance, because get a good one as well, because that covers you, so God forbid if anything does go wrong with any supplies or anything like that, you're then covered. But yeah, I probably will do another vlog, or maybe leave a comment if you want to see it. I might do another vlog going through my spreadsheets, because that's something that, like, it's my baby, I love it. And maybe more on my book as well, and what I've done there. But yeah, we have now got 8 months and 2 weeks till we get married. So I'm so excited, it still doesn't feel real. But yeah, I would say be organised, get yourself, there's loads of lists out there online, and I will share mine too. But I would also say one thing that Ross's sister actually said to us that I think is so important is always remember what the day is about. So it is about, it's not just a wedding, it's about your marriage. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's about the two of you. So there will be times when it's really stressful, especially when you realise how bloody expensive everything is. But it's going to be an amazing day, and it's, whatever happens, it's going to be great. And I think it's all about making it about the two of you and about celebrating it with your family and friends. Try not to get too caught up into the little things, because that's something I've fallen victim to a little bit. Ross has always managed to sort of talk me back round, but just enjoy it. It's such a fun process, and it's sort of, yeah, the start of something very, very exciting. So if you have recently got engaged, congrats. If you've got any questions, then pop them in the comments below. Please subscribe as well, because I'm pretty new to this. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and good luck with your planning if you are planning, or if you just love weddings, then good luck with your pinning. Bye!